the Trentonian. We are live on Trentonian TV. We are in, what is this called?
The WeedMobile.
And who are we with?
The one and only world famous superhero to the potheads. The New Jersey Weedman.
New Jersey Weedman. Why are you back in Jersey?
Well, unfortunately, I've had to come back so I can beat the Burlington County prosecutor's office in a court case next week.
What is that court case? A lot of people know your case from reading it in the Trentonian, but what are they accusing you of doing?
Well, basically, 4 years ago, I moved from New Jersey, and I moved to California and got well involved in the marijuana industry there. But at one point, I came home on a visit, and I brought my medicine, my medical marijuana, with me, and I got busted by a New Jersey state trooper. Actually, it happened on April Fool's Day, 2010, and at the time, I said that the fool actually was the state of New Jersey for having the unfortunate luck of arresting me.
How much did you have on you?
I had a pound.
A pound of pot. Is that a lot?
No, it's no more than someone buying a carton of cigarettes. Why should I have to buy a bag of weed every day or a couple bags of weed a day? Any more than a person who smokes cigarettes has to go out and buy a couple packs of cigarettes. Why I can't? A person like me who smokes a lot of marijuana, I buy my marijuana in pound or half a pound increments, and it was for me.
So let's back up a little bit. You're in California. Where did you grow up in Jersey?
I grew up in Sicklerville, mostly in Camden County.
Okay, so you go out to California a couple years ago to do what?
To open a medical marijuana dispensary.
And it's legal out there. It's a flourishing business. Everyone and their mother has a medical marijuana business.
800 medical marijuana facilities in L.A. County alone. There's thousands of them throughout the state. New Jersey Governor Christopher Christie would have a heart attack out there if he saw all these weed leaves.
How successful is your business? How many customers do you have, or did you have? Did they shut you down?
Yeah, just recently. For 3 years, I ran a thriving shop, a thriving dispensary. I provided marijuana, not only for medical reasons, but also for spiritual reasons. I called my dispensary the Liberty Bell Temple. It was registered as a church organization, also a religious organization, and it was doing very well until state officials here in New Jersey complained to federal officials out in Los Angeles about me and about my business, and they basically sicked the federal authorities on me. And on December the 13th, 2011, the DEA raided my temple, and basically all they did was steal everything. They took everything from me, all my money, all my marijuana.
How much money did they take?
Well, we'll leave that.
How much pot did they take?
Well, in my grow operation, I had 600 plants growing, and they took all of those. They took the 70 lights that I had all the balances, all the equipment to grow it. There was a bunch of marijuana that was drying from the last harvest, and they just basically they ruined me, And I've come back to New Jersey to ruin the state of New Jersey's marijuana laws with this court case of mine. And by the way, it's like 419. At 420, just like ritually, is when I usually take my medicine. And I say my medicine because I don't do Tylenol. When I have a headache, when I want to use marijuana, when I want to use my medicine, instead of using Tylenol, I twist one up and smoke it all.
So it is 4:20 on Thursday afternoon here in Trenton.
In Trenton, New Jersey.
What is 420? All the stoners know it, and it's known as many different things. But what is the official meaning of it? How did it come to be?
Well, again, it has many definitions, reasons. But you know what? It has become that symbol, one of those symbols in the marijuana culture, to mean smoking marijuana, to mean growing marijuana. When someone says, I'm about ready to 420, that means you're going to smoke marijuana. If you're saying that you're in the 420 business, that means you're doing marijuana. But 420 to a lot of people, especially people that have like 8 to 4 jobs, you get off of work at 4 o'clock. By the time you get out to your car, twist one up, fire it up, it's about 420. Instead of Miller time, you can look at that symbol 420 as bud time. And if you notice, you look at the WeedMobile, it has 2 numbers on the side. The 420 on both sides of it, kind of like a race car, but the numbers are 420. It's the 420 WeedMobile. There's a lot of bud smoking done.
How often do you get pulled over? You drive through states, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, the real conservative states. You got to get pulled over every 20 miles, it seems. Every 5 miles, it seems.
I actually thought we would too, but we didn't. We got a lot of people looked at us. We got people taking pictures of it. If you go to my YouTube, I took video of a police officer giggling and laughing and walking around my van, videotaping my van and calling his buddies and telling his buddies about this WeedMobile. So if you go to my YouTube page and look up Rudimentary First Police Encounter, I was a Nebraska County Sheriff. I'm telling you, it's a funny video. If you just watch it.
Well, during the editing process, I'll find it. What was the name of it again?
It's go to Rudimentary. Go to my website.
Okay,
and I have a whole list of things called Rudimentary, and it's First Police Encounter.
How many times is your van searched when you travel across the country?
It actually hasn't been. It never has been. Also, we had an incident in Chicago where the police also showed up because someone called the police and said there's a WeedMobile at Starbucks. Which is funny. Hey, we need our munchies too. Anyway, the police showed up. They looked at it. They practically apologized for having to come here, to come check us out. They can smell it. Anybody who puts their head in the window can smell that it smells like marijuana in here. It's in the carpets. It's just here in New Jersey with our Nazi-type police officers, they would use that as probable cause and probably tear it apart. But a lot of times, especially older officers, they aren't offended at this vehicle. They look at this vehicle as art, as a freedom of expression and First Amendment. In fact, that's what they usually think, that this vehicle somehow is some type of First Amendment trap for them. Like, they better leave this one alone.
What's the big hang-up on pot in 2012?
I don't know. You need to ask people like the governor, because I'm telling you, marijuana is so mainstream. Almost every television show you see, almost every musicals or songs.
Every TV, movie, music, everyone's
it's
smoking
everywhere. It's in our culture, and people like the governor who are so dead set against marijuana. They remind me of the people that initiated the Salem witch trials, and thought everybody was a witch and this, that, and the other. Same thing with this. Like, marijuana is not the weed of the witches, and marijuana is so mainstream.
But it leads to harder things: cocaine, heroin. All the kids.
No,
you're a bad influence. Look at you. You're a
for
pot
telling the
smoking
truth. Hippie. I'm telling the truth, though. That's the problem that most of those types have a problem with me about, because they actually realize. See, this is my little buddy, Stash. They have a problem that everything I say is actually the truth. When I talk about marijuana, I'm telling the truth. It's the government that lies. When you hear people say that marijuana is a gateway to this, that, and the other, they're lying. When you hear the government saying that marijuana is dangerous, they are lying. When you hear the governor of New Jersey saying that marijuana somehow can cause this and that problem, he's lying. They're just... It's not true. Marijuana is one of the greatest therapeutic substances on the planet. It makes you feel good, and it helps you with many, many, many therapeutic issues.
Newer generations of kids, youngsters, are becoming the politicians of tomorrow. Realistically... Hold on a second. Let me get that out. Sorry about that. Realistically... how long before it's just acceptable and every state's going to have medical marijuana and you'll be able to actually go and buy it on the corner, and it's going to be 20 years? Is it still 80 years down the line?
I think nationally, morally, amongst the people, it's already there. It's already acceptable. It's just going to take a little while for the laws to catch up. Right now we have 15 states that have legalized marijuana for medicinal reasons. The District of Columbia, right there in the nation's capital, there are dispensaries dispensing marijuana. It is there. I believe that very soon, within the next 5 years or so, there will be headlines. I think that there will be a headline at Trentonian saying marijuana is now legal. You will never, ever say that the government has won its war on drugs. The government's war on drugs is a failed national policy. It's really a disaster when you start breaking it down into some certain communities, certain states. You know, a city like Trenton, the war on drugs has caused far more harm than any of the drugs that's targeted by these policies could ever do. And putting people in prison and jail for marijuana disrupts families and lives. And
well, the good thing Christie is saying, he wants to send people with drug problems to rehab instead of jail. So it seems like he's a little progressive on that issue.
No, it sounds like a government indoctrination program.
Maybe.
I realize that marijuana is good. You send me to one of these programs, and I resisted that before. You send me to one of these programs, NA and AA, I don't want to hear their lies. Don't push dare down my throat. What's the difference between the Americans, sending people to drug programs and the Chinese that's sending people to re-education programs? There's nothing. There's no difference.
So there's a Sarah Burlinger. I don't know if you know her. She wants a big shout out right now. Maybe a big toke. She might be tweeting to us, or she might be on our Facebook page.
I hope she's at least smoking. What's up there, Sarah? How are you?
You're gonna represent yourself at your case. What is your strategy? Well, A, do you plan to win? But yeah. B, how do you plan to win?
Well, I plan on utilizing jury nullification.
What does that mean?
Jury nullification is a concept. It's a legal doctrine where the jury can judge a law as well as the facts. The jury can utilize its own conscience to render a verdict that's in compliance with the principles of freedom. A jury can say anything it wants. And I want to tell the truth to the jury. I just want to present the truth that the law is wrong and not I. And that's clearly what's going on here. The governments are inflicting these marijuana laws on us, and I think that on my jury, that there is going to be at least one juror who will feel the same way I do and say not guilty. And I'm willing to risk my freedom for the next decade that there's going to be a juror on my case who smokes marijuana. He doesn't actually necessarily have to smoke marijuana, but all that I need is a person on my jury that, oh, this smells good. What are you talking about? There's going to be a person on my jury who believes that marijuana should be legal, that no one should go to prison for marijuana, whether they smoke it or not. And that is my question to your listeners, to your viewers. If you were on my jury, what would you say? Guilty or not guilty? And I'm going to suggest that the Trentonian have a poll. If you were on the jury, on Weedman's jury, what would you say?
So you're smoking it right now. How good is this bud right here? Is this homegrown from Cali?
No, this is definitely some Cali bud. I am a cannabis snob. I admit I like smoking good marijuana.
You don't pull seeds out and stems and
There's
all that?
There's no seeds in my marijuana. There's no stems in my marijuana.
Do you still get stoned every single time?
No, it has to be good bud. Like, a lot of street bud doesn't get me high. A lot of stress. It doesn't do anything for me. And I have certain medical conditions that I do have a high pain level. And certain marijuana doesn't even do anything for it. So I don't even want to smoke anything like that. So I smoke nothing but good marijuana, which led me to the charges I have here in New Jersey, that I brought my good bud from California with me when I was home visiting. And that's all I was. I wasn't here selling marijuana. I came home to visit my kids. And
I don't know. In their eyes, here comes Weedman. He's going to sell all these J's and, some quality reefer to the kids. And, here comes the bad man.
Well, I don't sell the kids at all. And I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing. Anyway, if I have something that's good, why not share it? Spread the goodness. But I had just got off the plane. I went and visited my kids and was heading to the hotel room, and I got pulled over. My suitcases were still in the car. My bud was still in the suitcase. And, I got pulled over and searched and, like I said, charged. And I'm just fighting. And like I said, I'm going straight at this to the jury. I believe that there's going to be a juror on my case that's going to say not guilty. I'm representing myself so that I can pick my own juror. I'm representing myself so I can give my own opening and closing statements.
Didn't the judge say you can't do that, though?
Oh, but he lost. I filed a motion for reconsideration. I showed him clear examples of how the United States Supreme Court has consistently held that a defendant can represent himself. So the judge had to reverse himself, and on the motion to reconsider, I prevailed. In fact, if I'm not only a stoner, I tell people all the time, I was like, I'm a jailhouse lawyer who's not in jail. And, I believe my legal arguments most of the time work,
That's the thing. You smoke pot, and you're not a dummy. You know how the law works. You know how government works. That seems to be conflicting.
Because the government lies about what marijuana does to you. I mean, they say that people who smoke weed are like you just lay back and do nothing, sit on the couch. I've owned several businesses in my life. I can function most of the time without a job. I can
functioning pothead. They
Yeah.
said that about me many, many years ago.
Well, but I've been pretty successful a few times. Now what happens to me is I get successful, and then at some point, because of the marijuana laws, I have the government invading me and ruining me. Like just now, what just happened to me. I moved out to California. I moved out to California in 2008 with $500 in my pocket. When the federal government came in and raided me, I had 4 locations, 2 businesses, and had a marijuana promotions company.
So you were rolling in the dough.
I was doing pretty good. And now I'm flat broke again because the federal government entered my life. And that's usually what happens, Like, you know what? I've never had an evildoer do anything bad to me. It's usually the do-gooders. And that's what it is. We got, these do-gooder types in government who think that marijuana is so evil and bad, and they will inflict their goodness on you. And trust me, when someone inflicts their goodness on you, it's not good for you. You end up in a cage or...
Right. Can we set the record straight for a second here? We're now been taping 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't toked at all. I haven't asked for the J. I might have a little bit of a contact.
Well, you're smoke boxing.
Exactly.
That's what it is. He's trapped in here. He's stuck. It's cloudy.
This is
He's starting to giggle.
It's been many, many years. But we're sitting here with Paris and Slingshot, a couple of rappers that you picked up where in LA.
Well, my driver's license situation in New Jersey is not the greatest, and I knew I was going to be here for a little while, so I actually asked some of my supporters if they would, in fact, serve as my drivers. And Paris and Slingshot, Slingshot volunteered.
She was about to punch you.
Yeah, she was. Volunteered to be my driver and come with me to New Jersey and just help me with my court case. I've been asking people for help, not directly for money, but what I've been asking people to do is to help support this case, spread the message, make a big issue of this case, because even though this particular case has my name on it, my arguments are things that all stoners should utilize. I want people to call this defense later the Weedman defense. When I win, when I walk out of court with a not guilty, I want other stoners that are facing marijuana charges, I want them to tell their lawyer, I want the Weedman defense.
But that's just until the next time they pull you over and you bring a pound of pot in New Jersey and you got to go through it all over again.
I think over the last 15 years, and I'm going on record saying this, over the last 15 years, I think I have polluted the jury pool in Burlington County. I'm going on trial in Burlington County, and I think as far as this marijuana case goes, there, Mr. Luciano, I think I'm conviction proof. I think Mr. Luciano is my prosecutor, and I'm willing to bet my freedom that at the end of this case, I get a not guilty verdict.
Yeah, but what if he's watching this? He says,
I hope he's watching it.
You know what, Judge? He just tainted the entire South Jersey. We need to move him to a more conservative county of the trial where they aren't going to be quite as lenient, and
there are potheads
where you haven't had
everywhere.
a chance to soil and sully the minds of.
There are potheads everywhere. I get anonymous letters.
I'm not a pothead. I'd throw your ass in jail.
No, you wouldn't. I get anonymous. Yeah, see? Come on, there he goes. He's getting high. He's getting the contact. He's saying silly things.
Reefer madness. Throw me in jail. That's it. I'm fired.
But no, I think it doesn't matter. Anywhere my trial was in New Jersey, people would just Google me and just look me up. My website is set up so that specifically for 12 people right now, and I got, I have creative control of my website. My website specifically, I'll tell you now, is set up so that members of my jury, when they find out that they're on the Weedman case, they're going to go look me up. And then they're going to sit and watch videos of me talking about jury nullification. They're going to read what I say about jury nullification. I'm going to inform them of the right. Whether the judge lets me get it out of my mouth at trial or not, just the fact that a juror is picked for my trial, he's going to know and get to understand what jury nullification is, which will increase my chance of someone actually doing it. And I think I only need one, but I think I'm going to get 4 or 5. I'm definitely going to hang the jury. That's why the judge at one point removed me as representing myself, because he said that my plan was to hang the jury. Like, yeah, and
I saw, you have a webcast, and I think you do a pretty effective job of talking and telling people what the law is and what your background is, and I don't know how many viewers you get, but again, I'm not saying it's a way to taint the jury pool out there, but again, what if 17 people who are coming in and they pick, from that pool saw your videos and boom, you just won, because a couple of them are going to go, you know what, I smoke pot too, and they can't do this to me or my family, or they had a dad who was put away for this. And
exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Like I said,
is that why you're doing it though? Your webcast is to?
No,
are you trying to taint the jury?
Originally, when I first became publicly the Weed Man, that's originally what it was. I mean, this has been an ongoing major form of civil disobedience to me, just to have my website, just to do these actions where I'm publicly disregarding the law. To some, I'm a criminal and should be in a cage. But there's so many people who believe that marijuana should be legal that this is not. I've become the NJWeedman superhero to the potheads. You can laugh at it and giggle at it, but I act sometimes like a rock star. I show up places, people treat me good. I end up smoking marijuana everywhere. In fact, I won't smoke swag. Don't hand me a joint, by the way. If you got some garbage, keep it in your pocket and tell me about it.
Seeds and stems. That's what you're all about.
No. Please don't hand. If I hand it right back, that means it's not. You see, I hog the joints. So, if you hand me some swag, I'm gonna pass it back pretty quick.
I don't remember if we introduced your real name, Ed Fortune.
No one knows my name.
Right.
I am NJWeedman.
But for all those who want to know, officially, it's
officially my name is Robert Edward Fortune Jr.
Fortune. Now, if you win this case, do you get to go back to California and run your business again?
If I win, I'm going to go back and restart. I'll probably hang out here in New Jersey for a while. I'm running for state assembly here in the 8th district, and I'm running for U.S. Congress in the 3rd district. So I will campaign for a little while. I'm not sure how long, and then I'll start commuting back and forth to L.A. again. I want to restart my life in L.A. as I continue to run for office here.
That's the crazy thing, though. The stoner vote should put you straight into office. If everyone is smoking pot, and there are a lot of them of voting age, why didn't you win last time?
Well,
Are they just all choking out and falling asleep before they get to the polls?
I'm not that high that I ever really think I'm going to win. My objective is to get
But the stoner vote is very big. The stoner vote should get you in there.
There are other things. I mean, I think, I'm being prejudicial now and be like, oh man, I'm a stoner, I should vote for Weedman. No, I also do understand that there are people out there who smoke marijuana, they take life serious, they take their government issues serious and what's going on in life, and they're not going to waste their vote just on one issue of marijuana legalization. You don't think it's that burning of an issue that they... What I get though is I get these people who've never voted, and then they see my actions and they decide to cast a vote just in support of me. I got 10,000 votes, over 10,000 votes the one time I ran for Senate.
You think all 10,000 of them were tokers?
I think most of them were, and I get a lot of people to say, hey, I've never smoked, but you know what? I believe in what you say, so I voted for you.
And in your heart of hearts, you're an innocent man. You're an American who smokes pot, and there should be nothing wrong with that.
I'm a peaceful, proud, patriotic pothead, And again, I always use that word pothead in an endearing way. When I call you a pothead, that means I like you.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, NJ Weedman. How's your J going there? Is it out?
It's out, which means it was good.